I'm Bo Maddox.
I'm Robert Ortegon.
And I'm Ashley Chancellor.
This is Collateral Cinema.
What makes you think you can bullshit your way into my head? Like every other pencil-neck piece of shit.
Welcome to Collateral Cinema, the only movie podcast that matters, where we focus on good movies, bad movies, and everything else in between in the world of cinema. We're podcasting straight from somewhere in South Texas, and yes, my friends, we are a 420-friendly podcast. So smoke it if you got it, my friends. Whatever you have, smoke it if you've got it. And on this episode, we are doing another indie film review. We are checking out the newest release from Troma Entertainment. We love Troma here, right,
yes,
Robert?
We do. Yes, you do.
Oh,
very
yeah.
much.
Right, Ashley? I mean...
Well, I'm just getting introduced to Troma.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's definitely a hell of a genre unto itself.
We will show you more.
I think judging from this movie.
Yeah. I mean, it has its own aesthetic pretty much. And the name of this movie is Hectic Knife. It's directed by Greg DeLiso. It stars Peter Litvin as the titular Hectic Knife. And this movie is almost kind of like a mind screw comedy horror, kind of. Like it has like this very weird underground art house vibe to it, right?
Right. And this movie, it just struck me as odd how it doesn't even take itself seriously.
Oh, of course. I mean, there's a lot of movies that do that. But I mean, this one in particular, yeah, it's very much... it very much is tongue-in-cheek, and it does not take itself seriously, and that kind of plays into Troma itself. I mean, their movies tend to have a bit of a humorous element to it that's always kind of an interesting little undercurrent to it, right, Robert?
Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, how long have you been watching Troma movies, Robert?
Probably for like over 6 years now. Started with Toxic Avenger and Class of Nukem Highs.
Yeah, Toxic Avenger is pretty much their flagship series. I mean, we're not going to get too much into like a history of Troma or anything like that, because we do kind of intend to do another episode on another Troma film, like maybe Toxic Avenger. But yeah, I mean, Toxie is pretty much their mascot. I mean, it's front and center, like full out.
They use it and everything.
Now, I know, Ash, you haven't seen Toxic Avenger or anything like that.
That's correct. I haven't seen that. My first Troma film I saw today, and that was Hectic Knife.
Well, that's a heck of a first movie to introduce yourself to that particular universe, the Tromaverse, I guess you could say. And its aesthetic is typically, kind of cheap, but endearingly so. I mean, everything's very DIY with the Troma films. Like it's especially apparent, like going all the way back to Toxic Avenger. I mean,
yeah.
There's some pretty cheesy gore in that stuff. I mean, and that's a strain that continues to this day in Troma films, especially in this movie, in Hectic Knife, which is really awesome. I mean,
it's an awesome movie, but the acting itself was a little awkward.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's any indicator of how Troma films usually are.
Yeah, that's kind of par for the course with Troma films, honestly.
With the low budget.
I mean, yeah, their aesthetics is typically, I mean, there's some movies that can have a little bit of a better artistic edge to them. I mean, there's not a whole lot of them I've seen, but I mean, it still has a bit of an artistic edge to it sometimes, and it's a Troma edge. You know, I mean, it's like, what can you say? You kind of have to approach these movies and grade them on a different curve than other movies, you know?
Mm-hmm.
You either love it or you hate it, right?
Yeah, it's very much a love it or hate it kind of thing. I mean, beyond a shadow of a doubt.
You know, what I noticed, though, with this particular one, which I haven't seen any other trauma films, but for me, the amount of fourth wall breaking and the way it didn't even take itself seriously reminded me of Hectic Knife was like the Deadpool of indie movies.
Oh, very much so. Yeah, it kind of has that quality to it, you know, where it's just constantly kind of looking at you and winking a little bit, you know, not so much literally like in like Funny Games, which is not I guess it's kind of funny in parts, but it's not necessarily a funny movie, despite its name. But I mean, yeah, it is kind of analogous to Deadpool in that way. I mean, I do agree there. But I mean, Hectic Knife definitely continues that tradition with these types of movies, right?
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, it has a cinematography that's kind of reminiscent of Clerks or Darren Aronofsky's Pi. I mean, it even has a little bit of an Eraserhead quality to it, right?
I was just going to say that.
Yeah. I mean, that's our previous episode, which thanks to everyone who's made that such a popular episode, by the way.
Well, over 30 downloads, right?
Oh, man, almost close to 50.
50 downloads just on Eraser?
Yeah,
Nice.
just on that alone.
Cool.
Yeah, thank you very much. And yeah, we did also reach 500 downloads.
We did it before we close the season out. Nice.
Yeah, thanks to everybody on that. But yeah, Hectic Knife is totally within the tradition that Lloyd Kaufman set out to really do with trauma movies, which is to really encourage strong underground independent movie making, filmmaking, period. You know? And I mean, they've been around for how long now?
I have no idea.
Oh, man, I mean, I want to say close to...
Probably since the 80s, right?
Yeah, at least
Mid-80s.
over 30 years.
Yeah.
Like...
Early 1980s. Yeah.
Oh, very much so. And some of their best movies come from that period as well. You know, like Class of Nukem High.
I love that.
You know, Combat
1,
Shock.
2. We got Return to Nukem High, Volume 1 and 2, right?
You know, of course, Sergeant Kabuki Man. That's good stuff as well. And, you know, Hectic Knife, I think that it fits into the Tromafers rather well, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, could you see, like, maybe a crossover between some of their other flagship entities here? Like what if he did a Sergeant Kabuki Man crossover?
Holy crap.
But, I mean, the character Hectic Knife, I mean, he's the titular character in this movie. And he's very interesting, actually, right?
Yeah. It's like, do we discuss it?
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, we can discuss the character. I mean, we don't need to discuss the movie plot or anything like that. But
I still don't get it. So
Yeah.
I need to watch it while we're talking to.
yeah, I mean, yeah, there's a lot of moments where I was where, you know, the mind screw elements was just like, whoa, what's going on here,
How are we
man?
watching? Another Eraserhead.
What was odd with the main character is there was just a general lack of motivation.
Generally speaking, yeah. I mean, you want to think that, you know, he has like a sense of justice or purpose or anything like that, but he lives a very purposeless life, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
But it's portrayed in a very humorous manner. Like, for instance, that we'll go ahead and say this one thing: the couch gag. You know, you all know what I'm talking
the
about.
couch gag,
It's
yep.
like, yeah, that's very indicative of that. And when, ladies and gentlemen, when you watch the movie, you will find out what that is, and it is pretty brilliant, actually. Kind of dumb, but kind of brilliant at the same time. Like, it really is. And I mean, Hectic Knife, his mannerisms whenever he's going into action mode just floor me every time, man. I mean, it's just this, this weird flailing fighting style. It's so great. I love it. I mean, if y'all see the trailer, y'all might see a little bit of what we're talking about.
What's funny is that, you know, you watch it and he's portrayed as this badass with the knives, but when you look at him, he's just kind of like waving him around a little bit. He's not like
Oh,
flipping
exactly,
him around.
exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's actually a very funny mannerism. I mean, and his demeanor is kind of, you know, kind of morose and just, you know, kind of blasé about everything, really, in many ways. I mean, he knows that he has to fight against the villain, and the villain is what was the villain's name? It was some weird. It was Piggly Doctor. That's what it was.
Guy in the glasses and the
Piggly
white hair.
Doctor, who is an interesting character in his own right. It's like very
Psychopath.
blunt.
Yeah.
Piggly Doctor. Yeah.
Yeah, very, very blunt. character. Very, very straightforward. But I mean, yeah, I mean, Hectic himself, I mean, he even brings a girl home, kind of, or the girl follows him home, declares herself his girlfriend, and he's just like, yeah. There's just like, nah, what?
Really?
Okay. Oh man, yeah, that's pretty funny, you know. But yeah, his interactions with the other characters, I mean, that drives a lot of the humor in this movie. It's just everybody else is just so out of their fucking mind, and he's just very serious and just deadpan about everything, you know. Yeah, I really like that quality about him. You know, it kind of reminds me of the late '80s, early '90s action movies. You know, with like Steven Seagal, or you know, like I mean, he Steven Seagal kind of played characters similar to that in a lot of his movies, especially in his early movies, kind of lone wolf type characters.
Like an old martial arts movie or something.
Yeah.
Weapons.
Oh man, but yeah, anytime Hectic talks to anybody in this movie, it's priceless. It's absolutely priceless, man. What do you think, Ash?
His demeanor is very, very strange.
Uh-huh.
I think the whole movie, I was kind of trying to figure out this character, but then everything there is to figure out is right there.
Yeah, it's pretty much right on the box. It's right there in the narrative and everything. Yeah. I mean, he's just very put off by everything. You know, he doesn't seem to derive anything from what he does throughout the movie.
Nothing can hurt him, basically. He gets hurt, he gets stronger, right?
Yeah, he gets stronger, he regenerates. Once again, another analog to Deadpool, which is interesting.
Yeah, the amount of like self gore and then regenerating the limbs.
Yeah, there's and yeah, oh man, I love all the gore involving Hectic. You know, I mean, it's also weird. I mean, he gets wounded pretty badly throughout the movie, sometimes self-inflicted. But like Ash said earlier, he has no motivation whatsoever for what he does.
No, in fact, he even for some reason he's following this hero path, and yet he doesn't seem to really care about the hero thing.
No, he's absolutely the wrong person to be put on that path, honestly.
So it makes you wonder, why is he even doing that to begin with? This movie just gives absolutely no context, and I think that's what's brilliant about it.
That's what's great about it. I mean, I love it, especially when it gets into the mind-screwy elements, which, I mean, we're not going to really get into. I mean, still, you know, we don't want to spoil a whole lot, but I mean, the breaking the fourth wall goes pretty extreme. Let's just say that.
Pretty meta.
Yeah, it can get meta sometime, man. And honestly, it's like kudos to DeLiso for that, you know? I mean, and to Peter Litvin. He also wrote this movie.
He's the character of Hectic Knight.
Yeah, and he also wrote this movie and with Greg DeLiso.
Okay, so the main actor also co-wrote the movie. That's
yeah,
cool.
Yeah, and I read on IMDb that he straight up went to like San Diego Comic-Con, like dressed up in full costume as his character and was giving out flyers and screener copies of the movie, which would have been so awesome to meet him. That would have been cool, man. Get a free screener copy.
Grab an autograph if we can.
Yeah, I would have had him autograph it.
Nice.
Like totally. It's like, I mean, because why not? It's like he's actually involved in the making of the movie. He's the front man, pretty much.
His presence is pretty apparent too.
Oh yeah.
In the movie.
and his character definitely drives a lot of the movie itself. Even when things get a little off kilter and meta, I mean, it still comes back around, and he's just like meh, and I love that. But that just goes back to how surreal the humor gets, actually, you know? And it's a humor that reminds me a lot of Tim and Eric Awesome Show. Like, I don't know if you guys have ever watched Tim and Eric.
I haven't seen that.
I don't think I have.
They have this comedy that's incredibly surreal. It's non sequitur. You know, it's very based on like consumer culture and everything. And it's got an aesthetic to it that's kind of cheap and even smarmy at times. But also it has humor that's very cutting. And it does actually kind of have some criticisms about the world, you know, and I actually see some of that in this movie. But I mean, and also it had a lot of abject silliness and just absurdist crazy stuff, you know. Like, I mean, Tim and Eric Awesome Show, they would straight up have a series that's like some type of talk show for women, but it's just this really weird, off-putting dude like singing some type of weird opera thing or something like that. It's very abstract, but this movie kind of reminds me of that a little bit.
Okay.
But it even just reminds me of most of the live-action stuff you see on Adult Swim, period. I mean, I don't know if y'all watch stuff like that, you know? Like, I don't know if y'all watch like Delocated or Saul the Mole Man, which, yeah, Saul the Mole Man is another spiritual predecessor to this, I kind of feel a little bit. But, I mean, it really fits in with the overall aesthetic of the film, especially when you get to the mind screw elements. I mean, the humor just kind of collides with that, and it actually kind of complements each other a little bit, right?
I would agree with that.
First time, like, the first few minutes of Midnight, I'm like, what the hell am I watching? And then I just want to keep watching it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Just right from the very opening line, like, I don't know what to expect when I come into this movie, okay? I've never seen a trauma film before, but I kind of understood it was indie, you know, low budget. But just from the opening line, whenever it... when you kind of get a glimpse of the acting, and immediately I could kind of tell what kind of movie this was.
Exactly. I mean, it definitely doesn't take itself seriously, you know? And, I mean, when you mix it with the black and white cinematography, I mean, kind of adds a little bit of gravitas to the humor, right?
Yeah.
You know? Like, I mean, whenever he breaks the fourth wall, I mean, you really feel like, you're really in on the joke. I mean, it's not like they're talking at you. They're fucking actually bringing you into the joke itself a little bit. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, how funny did y'all think this movie was overall?
Oh, I laughed out loud several times.
Oh,
and
man.
That usually doesn't happen if I'm watching a movie, you know, by myself. But this movie.
Yeah, I know, man. I mean, I love all types of comedy, you know, but especially when you mix it with some horror and you just kind of run with it. I mean, that sort of thing it's really a favorite of mine. You know, movies like House or like, what's another good example? Return of the Living Dead to a certain degree. That's kind of a comedy when you really think about it.
Like Shaun of the Dead. Right?
Shaun of the Dead, of course.
Like
I mean, but yeah, horror and comedy, I mean, they go together quite
works.
well.
It does work.
You know, yeah, I mean, Gremlins,
yeah.
I mean, all those movies, I mean, I think that that makes up the tradition that this movie is coming from as well, you know, along with the trauma tradition of filmmaking. I mean, it also kind of feels a little bit like a Kevin Smith vibe as well, right?
Yeah, you're right.
It seems like what would be an in-universe movie in a Kevin Smith movie, kind of.
Clerks.
You know what I mean?
The first Clerks.
Yeah, oh man, the first Clerks is great, and apparently the cinematography was inspired by Clerks.
Was it? Nice.
Yeah, and it does kind of have that quality to it.
That vibe, right? That's what I got the whole time. Like, really.
Yeah, I mean, going with the black and white cinematography, I mean, it also made the humor a little more, gave it a little darker vibe, you know, both literally and figuratively, kind of.
The movie kind of did have a sort of darker vibe.
Oh man, yeah, I mean, all the gore that was involved in it,
yeah.
and it's great, cheap, practical gore. I love it. I mean, and when it's black and white, I mean, it just kind of makes it a little more impactful.
And it's just so over the top and out there and in front of you. They don't cut back at all.
Oh no, not at all, man. And of course they just go on absolute tangents. I mean, we're not going to go too far into those tangents, but I will bring up one such thing, and that is the bagel.
The bagel scene. I wasn't sure if we should mention the bagel scene.
Oh, I mean, well, they mention bagels in their tagline, but I mean, yes, bagels are involved in this movie somehow, ladies and gentlemen, in more ways than one. And oh my God, it's a great running gag. Honestly, I like it.
Just keep coming with the bagels.
Just keep coming with the bagels, man. It's like, I mean, I could go for some bagels right now.
All right, get some cream cheese on that too.
Some cream cheese, maybe some fruits.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're into eating meat, you know, eat some lox or some like salmon with it, you know.
Put some Nutella on it.
Oh man, Nutella on a bagel.
That'd be great.
Oh my God, I don't think I've ever even tried that.
Smart, right?
Jesus Christ, dude, you just opened me up to an entirely new realm of snackage.
There you go. You're welcome.
Now put put marshmallow fluff on it, then
With some M&Ms, maybe.
some M&Ms. Oh my God! Well, yeah, as usual. We're stoned, ladies and gentlemen, and we are just kind of craving some stuff.
That really complements the subject matter today.
It does, because that's definitely more or less a tangent,
Right.
And this movie has tangents like that. One involving bagels, which we just did now.
Just fell in love with bagels too.
So if you can imagine putting that into a story and going off on a tangent on a plot, kind of in that same way, that's what this whole movie is like.
Oh, very much so, man. I mean, the humor, it's pretty much like Tim and Eric thrown through a David Lynch blender, kind of, with a Kevin Smith vibe added to it. Robert, I mean, what was some of your favorite types of humor from this movie?
Just I guess his showmanship with his knives.
Oh yeah, that was wonderful. that performance alone.
Probably an art form he's been studying for years.
Oh, I know, man. Oh, it's so awesome.
What's really funny is that you're used to when you watch a movie and you see the badass with the knives, they have probably some trained stuntman doing the tricks, but this one, he's just kind of waving them around, and that just makes you love it even more because it really adds to the humor.
And it adds to the character as well.
Yeah.
I mean, because Hectic is still a very silly character in his own right. I mean, he fits in so well in this world, which I guess is like an alternate universe of our world, where it's the Tromaverse, of course. Yeah. I mean, I like to think that pretty much any movie that comes out of Troma, no matter what it is probably within the same universe.
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
Yeah. It's like I would love to see Hectic appear in the next Nukem High movie. Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah. They keep making them, be great. Yeah.
Just have him go against the Cretans.
Oh, the only one that could take them out, dude.
That would be like the best thing ever, man.
Pretty cool.
Hectic Knife versus Cretans.
And
Greg, Peter, guys, people at Troma, Lloyd, make it happen. Make that happen. That would be amazing.
I really love this character, Hectic Knife, and that's his actual name. His given legal birth name.
Yeah, that's his Christian name.
Is Hectic
That's
Knife.
the best thing about him, man. And the wig. I mean, that's the epitome of good, cheap underground filmmaking right there,
I don't know why they couldn't just hire a guy with long hair.
I don't know, man. Who fucking knows?
Well, I think Peter wanted to do his, Litvin wanted to do his own. I think this character was very much envisioned in himself.
Yeah, I would say so. Whose cell phone was that?
Was it mine?
You bastards. That better not be my cell phone.
I think it was.
God damn
That's
it.
the sound that iPhones don't make, and Robert and I both have iPhones.
Oh my God. Coming at me with the iPhones, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, I had an iPhone. But
Hashtag Team Blue Screen.
But anyway, I think the best element of this movie is the overall kind of mind fuck thing. Like I remember when after Robert and I watched the movie on Vimeo, we checked out the screener. I left a comment on there and I said, we applaud you for making essentially the anti-Eraserhead.
Yeah.
In many ways, that's kind of what this movie is. It's like an inverse of Eraserhead, our previous episode.
Stuck in his mind too.
Yeah.
Same character.
He's very much stuck in his mind. I mean, he has issues that he's trying to deal with in his own humorous, traumatized manner.
There you go.
Which means a lot of stabbing. Lots and lots of stabbing. And slashing.
Mm-hmm.
And arm flailing. But yeah, I mean, there were some scenes here where, I mean, this movie almost feels like it would just become another movie altogether. Like, I mean, that's what was crazy about that, right?
Yeah, it's its own thing now.
Yeah.
Waiting for the sequel.
Oh, man, there needs to be a sequel. Please make Hectic Knife 2. That would be the best thing ever. If not Hectic Knife versus the Cretans.
Oh.
I am now officially advocating that right now.
I haven't seen anybody take the Cretans down yet. Yeah.
Oh, man. If anybody's going to take down the Cretans, it's going to be Hectic Knife.
Hectic Knife.
It is definitely going to be Hectic Knife. Like, without a shadow of a doubt. Either that or what about Toxie?
Toxie.
You think
Another-
Toxie could?
Another guy born with the toxic chemicals, right? He fell into a drum barrel.
Yeah. You fell into the drum barrel, and just speaks perfect English.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Like, there's some posters and, like, Toxie appearing, like, Class of Nukem High movies, right? Like, he's in the background.
Yeah,
all the time,
definitely. Yeah, he's definitely referenced throughout that movie, and I think that the Toxic Avenger kind of happens in that same Tromaverse.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, this is all in the same movie.
Same thing.
Yeah, it's all pretty much the same thing as far as I'm concerned. Even that one movie, you know, about the children. What's that movie called?
I have no idea. You know the title?
God damn it! Once again, Collateral Cinema in action. But I mean,
movie podcast that matters.
I mean, this movie really used its limitations well, and it contributed to both the humor and the mind screw elements here. You know, I mean, it's kind of a topsy-turvy world where anything could happen. I mean, bagels come into the picture somewhere along the line.
Yeah, what's funny about this is that, you know, unlike, for instance, Deadpool, which does a lot of fourth wall breaking, the fourth wall breaking isn't limited to the main character. The entire world.
Yeah, the entire world is pretty
Breaks
much
itself.
a fourth wall break. I mean, it's almost as if it exists exactly to break the fourth wall. You know,
Every character. No one's exempt from that.
no, absolutely not. No.
Can't wait to see it again. Really.
I want to see it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely want to see it again. We definitely want to see a sequel. It's like this character needs to become part of, you know, the trauma lexicon.
It's
There
not
you go.
very
I think.
long. That's why I like it. It's very short and sweet.
Yeah, exactly.
It puts itself out there, and
Yeah, it's pretty much wham bam, thank you ma'am kind of, you know.
very much so.
But it's also just really, really great underground filmmaking. I mean, these guys pretty much made this movie on a whim.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was they originally made a short film and they just loved the footage that they have and they went ahead and just made a feature length out of it.
What I love it's so
Yeah.
refreshing about this is that there is no narrative flow whatsoever.
Yeah,
It just kind of is. It takes it wherever it wants to, and so there's no sense of, oh, we're close to the end of the movie kind of vibes that you get in this film. And like when you're watching anything else, you don't feel the climax. It doesn't. And that's what's so cool, I think, is that it doesn't follow the same flow that every movie does. I think we need more movies like this.
oh, definitely, yeah. Yeah, and most of the time you're going to find that in the underground. I mean, that's just what that is. I mean, especially something like Trauma or like Astron 6, you know, which that's another movie I wanted to bring up that I think is kind of like this movie is a movie called Manborg.
Man, boy.
Yeah, it's a movie that is also like it's pretty much all on a green screen, pretty much, and it has like these really cheap costuming and effects. But god damn, it's so awesome! I love that movie so much. I think that you can find it on Shudder, and it's also kind of like Turbo Kid a little bit, except even cheaper. Like I don't know if y'all seen Turbo Kid.
No, I haven't.
Yeah, well, Turbo Kid is kind of a good '80s throwback with cheesy gore and all that shit.
The stuff we love.
Yeah, of course.
Nice.
And I mean, Astron 6, I mean, they're pretty much a collective of filmmakers that, you know, they know how to make good, cheap looking, but awesome films. Like really, really good films. Not even cheap looking films. I think they made The Void recently. Like that's a movie that you can find on Netflix. You can find on Shudder, Amazon. But also, you know, yeah, Full Moon Productions also kind of has that vibe to it.
Little Full
a
Moon
little bit.
Productions.
Yeah, Full Moon is great.
So many films. So many. Jeez.
Yeah, I mean, there's at least one that's going to be an upcoming episode in season 2.
Intruders.
Intruders.
Of course.
Yeah. But I mean, I love the atmosphere of this movie. I mean, it's kind of caustic like Eraserhead, but humorous. You know, it's almost like a parody of those type of films in a way.
All of them rolled into one, too.
All in all, it's a parody of horror tropes. It's a parody of action tropes. It's a parody of... It's even kind of a parody of the Tromaverse itself, kind of, if you really want to think about it.
Crazy world, trauma.
A very, very crazy world,
Anything
man.
could happen, dude.
Oh, bless you, Lloyd Kaufman. Bless you. I mean, I have at least 2 trauma films in my collection. I have the original Class of Nukem High.
Me too.
And I have Combat Shot, which is actually a very interesting movie. That might be an episode in the near future. I mean, that's got some interesting things to say about poverty and about life on the streets and whatnot. But yeah, we like this movie.
Love it. Keep making more of them.
Yes, please make more of these. We need all the Hectic Knife movies.
Now, this movie, what I want to understand here is, are all trauma films kind of like this scope?
Well,
or is this something like really, really unique?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of movies that are similar to it, and I think that there are some films on trauma that, they're kind of going for a more serious vibe. I mean, I haven't really seen enough to really say that. I've just mainly seen a lot of their flagship stuff, like Toxic Avenger, I think I've seen Kabuki Man. Yeah. But, I mean, it definitely has its own aesthetic. I mean, like what we started the episode at, I mean, you pretty much know what you're getting with a trauma film.
I think if this is any indicator of what the other movies are like, then
oh man, we just opened up a whole new world to this guy, right? Yeah. This is a whole new world of cinema, dude.
We're actually gonna force feed all this down you.
Oh man, you have no idea, dude. Have no idea, right?
No, you're in for a surprise.
Oh, you are in for. We have such sights to show you. You are in for treats. Treats.
I feel like I'm about to get fucked by the hard dick of life.
Oh yeah, by the hard dick of life and the hard dick of cinema.
The cinema world.
This will just increase your vocabulary mostly.
Well, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and give our final rating of this movie out of 5. 5 being the greatest, 1 being absolute shit. We'll go ahead and start with Robert. What is your rating and what are your thoughts on this movie?
My rating is probably like a 4.5.
Oh, man, yeah, that's definitely a great movie. Like, what are your final thoughts?
My final thoughts on this movie is I just want to see it again.
Oh, man, yeah, this is definitely something that's going to go into our rotation.
I want to have it. I want to add it to the collection, too.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that they made some hard copies of this. I mean, Ash, you saw this on Amazon Prime, right?
Amazon Prime.
Yeah, this was on Amazon Prime, available for all Prime members for free. I didn't have to pay anything additional for it. So it's one of those titles that is available on Amazon Prime if you're using that service, which, by the way, I recommend.
Oh, definitely, especially if you can find movies like this and check it out, I mean, that's the one good thing about Amazon is that, as well as Netflix, is that they do like to try to get, small filmmakers out there,
Yeah.
Netflix does it in a different way, but, Amazon, they tend to have a lot of independent underground films on their streaming on their service. So it's like, that's one good thing about them. Other than, maybe being able to track down other films that you otherwise wouldn't be able to find, Like, I mean, I did end up buying The Room through Amazon and then got another copy through Tommy Wiseau.
With the autograph, I remember.
Yeah, I have 2 copies of The Room.
Nice.
But Ash, what is your final rating of this movie and what are your final thoughts?
Hectic Knife, out of all the movies I've seen, and obviously we're giving the impression that I haven't seen a lot of movies. But out of what I've seen, it's really odd, and I guess I haven't seen enough odd movies yet.
Yeah.
But it really, really came out this movie with a great feeling. Like,
yeah,
I was so happy for having seen it. And so I would definitely rate this a 4 out of 5.
There we go.
Yeah.
I've never seen anything like this before, and I kind of want to more now.
Oh, definitely.
There you go.
I mean, yeah, there's a lot of great movies that are just like this out there, man. Like, you hang out with us, you're going to see some of those movies. And my final rating here, I'm just going to go ahead and give it a 5. I enjoyed it that much.
Yeah, I love it.
I'm just going to go ahead and just outright give it a 5. I mean, this is like a crazy, like, Adult Swim style type of humor by way of the Tromaverse, Like we said on Vimeo, it's the anti-Eraserhead, and that's not a mark against it. That's actually really awesome. It's almost a parody of Eraserhead in some ways.
How do you do that stuff?
I know, man.
Jeez.
So yeah, I mean, I can definitely give this movie a 5 out of 5 because, I mean, especially since, like I said, you do kind of have to approach movies like trauma movies in a different way.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you grade them on a different curve, you know. But when it comes to the underground filmmaking curve, it's like this is fun. This is great. This is like pop open a few beers, roll some blunts, and just have a blast watching this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's exactly what this movie is, and that's what the Tromaverse is.
I think that's what we did too. Right?
That's exactly what we did. Yeah, we got drunk and straight up just drank beers, and we watched this movie, and it was great. Like Ash, I don't know if you had anything drinkable or smokable while you watched this. But
Actually, I had gotten pretty drunk. I chugged like 4 Smirnoffs in a row just to watch this movie.
Oh my God, just to watch this movie.
And I gotta say, it was pretty great.
Oh my God.
Good times.
We're just gonna say that was a joke. That's a joke. Ha 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 ha. But yeah, definitely check this movie out. It's on Amazon Prime. If you need to check out the trailer, it's available on YouTube. They have a page on IMDb. Go and like their page. Check them out. They're also on Facebook and Twitter. You know, much like we are. We're on Facebook and Twitter as well. And this movie is just fun, ladies and gentlemen. Like, please support these guys. Support Troma. Support Greg DeLiso. Support Peter Litvin. It's like, this is legit underground filmmaking at its finest. So, with that, we're going to go ahead and announce what's coming up on the next episode officially. It's officially episode 9 of Collateral Cinema in season 1. And we are going to do Rocky, written by Sylvester Stallone. And who directed it?
I forgot.
You forgot?
I forgot.
Oh my God.
Damn it.
Damn it. Damn it all to hell.
Some kind of goddamn
Yeah, and Ash, I know you haven't seen that movie yet.
I know the one movie I know everyone else has seen, but we'll watch it before the next one.
Oh, definitely. I mean, it's a great movie, man. It's a movie that I actually remember watching with my parents back in the day, you know, because it's a great story, and I think we'll get into a lot of interesting points on that movie. I really think so.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, definitely, especially getting into a little bit of boxing history.
And somebody's life rights. I guess.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to talk about that a little bit. You know, of course, you know, talk about the boxing match itself.
Yeah.
You know, that happens in the movie and everything. And yeah, we're going to have a fun time with that
What
one.
do you want
I
from
really
us?
do think so. But yeah, check out Hectic Knife. It's like, we really, really, really love this movie.
Why are you torturing me like this?
Check it out, y'all. All right, we are on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we are on YouTube, we are on Podbean, we're on Stitcher. You can find us on Tumblr, WordPress, Google Play,
What do you want from
and
us?
soon I think we're going to try to get on Spotify. I'm not too sure. iHeartRadio would be pretty cool, right, guys? iTunes, yes, we're going to try to get our iTunes set up. I don't know why we don't have it. I mean, I thought that we'd have one automatically by way of Podbean, but we're going to try to get our iTunes set up, get all of our stuff on there, and
What do
hopefully
you want from
we
us?
can start getting some views on there and everything. So find us wherever you listen to podcasts. I'm Bo Maddox,
I'm Robert Orgo.
And I'm Ashley Chancellor.
and this was Collateral Cinema. We are out. Laters. Collateral Cinema is an L Company production. All music and movie clips are owned by their respective creators. Please don't sue us. We're poor.